You guys look good. This is a very good looking group of guys and girls, professionally and ethically. So I'm gonna be going over a couple different things today. So I think. Good. Yeah. Good. Cool.
Nothing.
Wait, is that an Android?
It is.
That's probably why it fell.
Man. Nah, it's because I'm clumsy.
Wait,
He remembers our talk. You remember what we said.
Okay, wait. Sorry. Okay, before I get started, guys, this was the funniest thing I've ever heard. So yesterday I'm in the field with Eli, right? Eli, raise your hand real quick. This handsome guy right here. We're in the field together, right? And he pulls out his phone. I forgot what I needed his phone for, but he pulls his phone. I'm a big iPhone guy, Apple all the way. Okay, anyone that doesn't support it, you can get out. But so we're in the field, right? And he's like, I forgot how the conversation came about, but I was like, you have an Android? He's like, yeah. I'm like, ew, why don't you have an iPhone? He's like, I hate iPhone. I'm like, how could you hate iPhone? I'm like, why would you? He's like, well, I'd be mad too if someone took a bite out of my apple. Because the back of the apple on the iPhone has a bite out. I was like, wow, that is so funny. I've never heard that before. That was so good.
Because they didn't give me other whole fruit. It was like, let me get a sample
Let
of
me
it
just
first.
get a bite. That was so funny. Okay, cool. I'll shut up now. Okay, cool. So, I was thinking about it, guys. And for the most part, I think, raise your hand if you've been here longer than a month. Okay, raise your hand if you've been, raise your hand if you've been here less than a month. Okay, cool. So a pretty split even group of guys and girls that we have in here. So I guess first things that I wanted to go over, can we agree, or let me just make a round table. Let me just ask, what are some, and you guys could just shout it out. You don't have to like raise your hand or anything weird. What are some of the things that attracted you to our business? Like, what are some of the reasons that you guys decided, okay, cool, let me try out this industry?
You?
Money. Who just said you? Savage, bro. Get out. Seriously though, like, what are some things that enticed you guys to our industry?
Probably the family style and also the growth opportunity.
Family style, opportunity, okay. What else? Growth? Looks like growth, okay, cool. Luke, right?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Surprised you remember that. It
Yeah.
relies on you.
Relies on you? Okay, so a lot of your results are based off of the work ethic that you actually put in. I like that. Okay, cool. What else? I kind of want to hear from some of my newer guys in the back.
I was gonna say the same thing as them, growth, and I was looking into the marketing field too, and I'm just interested in sales and stuff in general.
Okay, cool. So you already kind of like looking into this industry, so it kind of just like almost like fell in line?
Yeah.
A little bit? Okay, cool. Perfect, no problem. Now, as far as, so those are the things that actually enticed us. So now let me ask, what are some things that we feel like we're missing to be able to get to the next level? Like, what are some things that we feel like right now, and this is all individual based because obviously everyone is at a completely different point in this program. Like, some people, they have to work on like social awareness. Some people have to work on their image. Some people have to work on, maybe not cursing so much, whatever the case is. What are some things that we feel like, or maybe right now we're missing to be able to get us to the next level?
For me, it's probably my own personal self-patience.
Personal self-patience. So maybe you hold yourself to like high standards, and it's like whenever you don't get the results, you're like, dang it, like what's wrong with me almost? Okay, I get that. That makes sense. What else? What are like some other things that we feel like we're missing? Okay, so okay, I'm not gonna hurt anyone's feelings, okay? But I'm gonna ask real quick. I might challenge someone's entitlement real quick. All right. So guys, if we felt like we weren't missing anything, we'd probably have a plaque attached to our name that says president, okay? So I'm gonna ask again, what are some things that we feel like right now we're missing to be able to get us to the next level?
I was about to say time, but that's it.
Time? Like time or like time management?
Just time.
Just time. Meaning like you just don't feel like you have enough time to do certain things.
No, I mean like I haven't been here long enough.
Oh, you're just new enough. That makes sense. What's your name?
Steve.
Steven? Handsome. Gotcha. What else?
Did you say accountability?
Accountability? Like, okay, so like maybe sometimes like we'll like say like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I clean my room tomorrow morning, and then like tomorrow morning comes and it's like you realize leaders meetings in the next 30 minutes and it's like, damn, do I want to be late to leaders meetings and get rung up by Payne or Miriam, or do I want to just make sure I make it there and I'll take care of it tomorrow. I'll take care of it when I get home. I am with you on that one. I know the feeling. What else? What else do we feel like we're missing?
Discipline.
Okay, discipline, inconsistency. So like we know a lot of the right habits to do, and it's easy like sometimes like maybe on the days that like we're super jacked, we're super excited, like F it, we're about to go out there and crush it, but then like the days like we wake up and we're like, damn, I stayed out a little bit late last night, I don't really feel like waking up in the morning. It's like, I guess I can maybe take off of this leaders meeting. Cool? Makes sense? Discipline. I agree. What else? What would you say?
It's an inconsistency.
Inconsistency. So sometimes doing the task and then sometimes not necessarily doing the task. Very simple. What else? Any of our newer guys feel like what are like our newer guys feel like we're missing right now to get us to the next level? If you've only really been here like 13 business seconds, it's probably a little bit hard to tell what you're missing. But for anyone that's new, like, what do you feel like you're missing? Information management. Like, you just don't feel like you have enough knowledge. Okay, cool. Now, can we agree that a lot of the things that maybe we just listened, maybe not all, maybe not something along the lines of information management, that's definitely accurate, but I wouldn't really list it in this category. But can we agree a lot of the things that we just said, whether it was time management, discipline, work ethic, not having a good say-to-do ratio, can we say that a lot of those things fall under the line of maturity? Can we agree? Like, can we agree that if we were a little bit more disciplined, or we were a little bit more time management disciplined, or we were a little, what was the word they used? If we were a little bit more consistent and not so inconsistent, can we agree that falls under the line of like just being a little bit more mature, like just kind of like growing up in a sense a little bit? Yeah? Okay, cool. So this is what I'm gonna do, okay? I'm gonna go down the list, okay, of things, and you guys can write this down. Like I said, I have bad handwriting, so I will not be writing it up, but I'm gonna say it, okay? I'm gonna go down the list, okay, of things that Richard, which you guys are a part of, Richard's organization, okay? If you guys don't know him, Google him, okay? What Richard Sanders hold up, what Danny's organization hold up, what Miriam and Payne's organization hold up, to be able to mature yourself, to be able to get to the next level. And instead of maybe taking 6 to 8 months in our program, you'd maybe take 4 to 6 months. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm just gonna start with mature, so you guys can start at the top. It's gonna be a pretty decent list, okay? I'm gonna kind of like dive into a little bit of each one. So you can start at the top, just labeling it, maturity is, and then I'm just gonna go down the list of things. Cool? All right, so number 1, maturity is, all right, understanding first impressions matter. I got you, my bad. Understanding first impressions matter, okay? So now what they had in the title for this was, or what they had in like a little asterisk, like a little side note, was looking propels in eye, image, language, and association. Okay? So what that means is, you guys ever heard the saying, you only get one chance to make a first impression? Cool. So if this is the first time that I'm meeting someone, let's say I'm in a bad mood, okay? Let's say I just lost my wallet, all right, my tire just got flat, some life issue just happened, okay? If I just met Luke for the first time, for the most part, I'm a pretty outgoing guy, you know, I'm pretty decent, you know, I'm nice for the most part to everyone, but Luke and me, we just met on the wrong day for me. Just everything's going wrong. And I go up to Luke, and Luke's like, hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing? And I'm like, I'm good, all right? Are you okay? All right, have a good day. Cool? This is my first time meeting Luke, okay? So maybe someone like Miriam that knows my heart, has known me for the past 8 months now. She knows that, okay, Hasani, he's just having a bad day. He's cool. But Luke doesn't know me from anywhere, okay? So this is Luke's first time meeting me. So what is the image that Luke is gonna have of me moving forward, unless I gave him a very sincere apology? Unapproachable, negative. Can we also say maybe a little bit of an a-hole? Does that make sense? And keep in mind, Luke's a stranger to me, so he doesn't know me from anywhere. So he's probably thinking, why is this person just being a complete a-hole to me? Like, we just met. Like, this makes absolutely no sense. So just understanding that first impressions matter. And then as far as like image, okay, like I want to make sure that I look good because being able to look good, kind of like you said, it makes me a little bit more approachable, okay? Can we agree, okay? If someone walks in here, let's say a leader walks in here with basketball pants and a tank top, all right? And an entry level walks in here with a suit on, okay? No matter what, if I'm brand new and I just walk in the room, who am I looking to go forward and have a conversation with a little bit more? Probably the entry level, because they just look sharper, okay? So now, take it from me, okay? I did not always know how to dress. My upline taught me how to dress, okay? So before, I was the guy that used to come here with basketball pants, tank top, Sperry's, no socks, okay? Socks didn't match the belt, whatever, shoes didn't match the belts, whatever the case was. So if you struggle with something as far as like getting your image down, just network with your upline. They'd be more than happy to help you guys out, okay? So that's number 1. The second one, okay? Maturity is knowing complaining does not get you anywhere, okay? Guys, I think everyone in this room, no, actually I know everyone in this room, you have to be 18 years or older to work here, okay? So that means you're an adult. Okay, so what that means is I know you've been through a decent amount of life issues already, okay? Whether, like I said, flat tire, loss of wallet, car accident, loss of a family member, okay? Like, guys, everyone goes through these things, okay? But I don't want to make the reason, okay, that I'm not to the next level because of something that already happened to me in the past. Because guess what? I cannot change anything that I got in a car accident. My car is total and it's gone, okay? I cannot change anything that I lost my wallet. All my IDs are gone. I'm gonna have to sit through the 3-hour process and go over with all the banks, all the social securities, all the passports, whatever the case is, and get them reordered. Is it annoying? Absolutely. But me complaining about it is not going to help me get to the next level. Does that make sense? So I want you guys to start thinking like, hey, look, like my upline looks like, I know if I'm Payne's downline, if I'm Miriam's downline, like they look at how I deal with challenges, like, okay, cool, because they're gonna be giving me a business in 6 months. So they're gonna look at it like, okay, when you're on your own, Eli, like you're gonna have a lot of challenges. So the way that you deal with challenges now, if you complain about it left and right, if you blame everyone else for your challenges and not yourself and look at it like, hey, maybe what can I do a little bit differently? They're gonna be like, damn, when this person gets into the business for themselves, they're gonna just blame their reps as to why they're not to the next level instead of looking within and saying like, okay, cool, maybe what can I change? So going along the lines, who said it? Ray, maybe going along the lines of just being a little bit more accountable, okay? Next thing, maturity is knowing that, this is so good, knowing that your upline cannot hand you their confidence, okay? I know you guys look around this room sometimes and some of our more experienced leaders or looking at our CEOs and like, wow, that person's super confident, like, what? And we almost get a little bit frustrated because we're like, hey, dang, why am I not that confident? And I could just tell there's some people in this room right now that just walk in confidence. Even if they're an entry level, you just walk tall. Like you just know, no matter what room you're in, no matter what position you're at, like you are the ish. These people, I'm not really talking to you guys right now. You guys have confidence. But for the people that walk in the room, that was like me when I was newer, I used to look around and I'm like, damn, why can't I just have Danny's confidence? Why can't I just have Miriam's confidence? Why can't I just have Payne's confidence? Like guys, you have to understand, these guys started exactly in the position that you started in. So they had to build their confidence the same way that their uplines had to build it in them. Does that make sense? So just understanding like, hey, look, things like this, it takes time, okay? Because if this is a new industry for you, like it was for me, you've never done anything like this before. Maybe some people come from a marketing background and they were already doing something like this before, but guys, before this, I played college basketball. So it's not like I never came from a marketing background. I never knew what to do. So my upline had to make me understand like, hey, look, it's gonna take some time. You just gotta be a little bit patient to be able to mature, to get your confidence level to the way that you need it. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, next one, all right? Knowing that skill sets matter. Okay, maturity is knowing that skill sets matter. So if you're someone that's in this room right now, okay, let's say you're like super talented, all right? Let's say you got a mouthpiece on you, you know how to talk, you're charismatic, you look sharp, your hands sound beautiful, whatever the case is, right? And you're like, hey, Payne, I know we need this intro short story stuff, but I got a mouthpiece on me that I was blessed with from birth, so I don't really need to learn that whole pitch stuff. Just give me the tablet, I'm gonna go out there and work. Guys, you have to understand, okay? Skill sets matter because once you get into a position where you're dealing with a ton of different people, okay? I was explaining this to someone earlier, okay? Your team is not always going to have your skill set. Like, if Luke is a very talented person, okay? Luke is not only going to interview just talented people, okay? Does that make sense? Like, it's gonna take Luke some time to be able to find someone that's just like him or very similar to him. So that means a lot of the people that he interviews, that he recruits, are gonna be people that are kind of like me, that are not talented, that all they know how to do is just work. That they just know how to work hard and they need something simple and tangible to copy to be able to duplicate, okay? So understand now, if you're someone that's like looking at a skill set that Payne or Miriam's trying to teach you, and you're like, I don't really need that right now. Like guys, it might not always be for you. It might be for your team later down the road for you to just have that knowledge so you can duplicate it back. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? No? Okay, cool, perfect. All right, maturity is knowing when to follow through, okay? Like, it goes back to what Sean and Elena said. Like, I want to be consistent, okay? I want to be disciplined. Like, if I show up and I tell Payne and I tell Miriam, I am going to be at this leaders meeting tomorrow morning at whatever time our leaders meetings start, okay? To be able to grow, learn the interview process, whatever the case is, I want to make sure that I follow through for them, okay? Guys, everyone in this room is on someone's payroll, okay? But that does not mean that you're an employee. I firmly believe that our business teaches people from going from the employee phase of their life and turning themselves into an employer. Does that make sense? But being able to become an employer, you have to be able to show people that they can actually count on you and follow through. Like, your word matters more than anything else. Like, if you tell someone like, hey, I am going to follow through on this, you have to make sure you come through. And look, life will happen, okay? If I tell Payne, look, I'm gonna be here for leaders meeting, and I get in a car accident, it's one of those things where it's just outside of my hands. Unless you ran the red light, then it was definitely in your hands. Probably could have avoided that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I know I'm not gonna make it. Communicate. Shoot him a text, shoot him a call. Hey, brother, look, I know I let you down. I know I wasn't gonna be here. I know I told you I was gonna be here. Something serious came up. Just make sure we communicate, okay? But following through on the words that you say. Does that make sense? Cool. Next thing, okay? Maturity is knowing that anything involving success will take a long period of time. Okay? So guys, this just means, this one's very simple. Guys, just be patient with yourself, okay? I know 95% of the people in this room hold themselves to high standards. You guys look in the mirror and you're like, I know I'm gonna be successful one day. I don't know how it's gonna come. I don't know where it's gonna come from, but I know I was born to be a winner, okay? Guys, understanding success takes time, okay? No man or woman that you know that's successful just made it overnight. I mean, some people won the lottery and then, you know, just invested and then that was it for them. But for the most part, guys like Grant Cardone, all right, guys like in the books that you read, guys, like some of these people were homeless. Like Grant Cardone, does everyone know who this man is? Like the mogul of real estate? No? Huge real estate. Look him up. Huge guy in real estate. Okay, a lot of the books that Payne's gonna be recommending you guys to read, he wrote them, okay? He's a billionaire, okay? But he built his business from the ground up. And before he became to where he was going, guys, he slept in his car for 2 years. For 2 years, this man was homeless before he built his organization. Does that make sense? Like Elon Musk, okay? Everyone familiar with Elon Musk? Cool, Tesla? Guys, I don't know if any of you know this. He woke up one morning and his bank account was negative $200 million. Okay? Some of us wake up sometimes and we're like negative 50. Imagine waking up, your bank account says negative 200 million. You think he had to be patient and work his way out of that hole to be able to get to the next level? But no one knows about that stuff. Everyone just knows Tesla, all right, Starlink, rocket ships, outer space. Like everyone just knows the success that he's having now. But guys, like it took a certain level of work ethic for him to get himself from the ground up. Like success takes time. So if right now you're someone in the program, let's say you've been here for a short amount of time, or let's say you've been here for maybe a little bit longer time. Like guys, it's a new skill set, okay? Just be patient with yourself and understand, like, I know once I trust Miriam's coaching, I know once I trust Payne's coaching, I'm gonna be able to get myself to the next level. Cool, it's okay to hold yourself to high standards, but just make sure you're giving yourself grace along the way. Cool? All right, next thing, okay? Understanding. Maturity is knowing that we are all going to miss goals. Okay, guys, if you say you're gonna go out there today and do 3 and crush it, or do 5, whatever the case is, guys, if you fall short, it's okay. Like, it is okay. Like, you have to understand, like, again, a lot of successful people, they did not just make it on their first shot. Cool? Like, they did not just make it on your first shot. Who was the, I know the amount of number of times that he did it. Who was the person that created the light bulb? Thomas Edison. Do you guys know how many times it took him until the light bulb actually turned in?
Over 200.
No, like 200 something, wasn't it?
Over 200.
It was over 1,000. It was 1,061 times. 1,061 times this man made an experiment to be able to get light on, and on the 1,062nd, the light bulb turned on. Imagine if he had quit on number 200. Imagine he had gave up on number 500, on number 1,000. Cool? Like, guys, understand, you're going to shoot goals sometimes, and you're going to miss, okay? But the answer to that is not taking a step back and just saying, all right, I'm gonna just stop shooting, okay? Because you miss 100% of the shots that you just do not take. Does that make sense? So if you're struggling right now, just keep shooting. Just keep shooting. Keep networking with your upline, and they're gonna get you to the next level. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, next one, okay? I love this one. Maturity is understanding you cannot expect results from the work that you did not put in.
Can you say that again?
Yes. Maturity is understanding you cannot expect results from the work that you did not put in. Okay? Does that make sense? So I cannot be upset, all right, that I'm not 195 pounds with a shredded body like The Rock if I go to the gym once every month. Does that make sense? Like, if you're someone right now that's struggling in the field, okay, struggling building a team, struggling with wherever you're at in the program right now, guys, if you don't come in here every single day and practice pitch like it's a championship game, you cannot be upset that you go out to the field and you get 50 doors slammed in your face. Does that make sense? Because you're not actually working on the skills to be able to diffuse someone, to be able to catch their attention, to have them come outside. Like, we're not working on those skills in here, so we go out there and we get smoked. Does that make sense? Like, if you're struggling building a team right now, don't be upset you're not building a team. Be upset that you're not practicing your second round interview good enough to be able to actually learn that it doesn't matter what the job is. It matters the relationship that you build with that person in front of you on the second round interview. That's what you should be putting pressure on. Not the job. Guys, no one cares about the job. Does that make sense? Like, yes, they care about what we do. It's growth, ton of money, 6 figures after 6 months. Yes, all that stuff is great, okay? But guys, someone can find this somewhere else. I want to make sure that if Chris is sitting in front of me, I make him feel like for the next 6 months, him and I are not only going to become best business partners, but we're going to become friends in this journey. I'm going to let him know, like, look, you're not always going to like me, okay? Because I'm going to tell you something that's going to challenge your mentality a little bit. And you might not always like it, but just know we're in this for the long run, okay? Just understand, you cannot get upset for you not having results, okay, for work that you have just not put in yet, okay? So if you're upset at where you are, the answer is work harder, cool? And if you fail again after working harder, the answer is work harder. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, next one, okay? Maturity is minding your own business. Okay, so what this means is, it's like, guys, look, you're gonna have people that's gonna come in here, okay, and you're gonna look to your left and you're gonna look to your right, and there might not be someone that's in here right now, in here tomorrow, in here next week, okay? But guys, no offense, I don't care if Chris shows up tomorrow or not. Do I care about Chris? Absolutely. Do I want to see him be successful? Absolutely. But if he doesn't show up tomorrow and he's my downline or my upline, even if he's my upline, I'm like, okay, Chris decided to leave, okay? He had to leave, whatever the case was. So that means that my life is just done. I just can't be successful. Just throw in the towel, my life is done. I can't do anything without Chris. Like, guys, just mind your own business. Like, if you're so worried about think about it like this. Think about the same energy that you put in about worrying about who's not here, about the cross networking, about who's gone, who's still here, who's negging people out, who's talking about negatives. Imagine if you put that exact same focus and energy that you put into focus on that, into developing yourself and your team, how much further along you would be. Cool? Does that make sense? All right, like, just minding your own business. Cool? Next thing. Maturity is understanding life happens for you, not to you. Okay? So anyone in here right now, okay? I don't care where you are in life. Everyone has a life issue that they have going on right now. So there's something on the back of everyone's head right now that's like, man, I know once I get out of work, I'm gonna have to go deal with this. Okay? Guys, it's happening for you, not to you. Okay? I was explaining to a leader this morning, I'm like, look, whatever you're going through, okay, it's gonna be for your team later down the road, okay? Because right now, if you drive an hour and a half to the office, if you drive an hour plus to the office, okay, and you're crushing all excuses, you're showing up on time, you're putting in the work, are you a little bit tired? Hands down, probably, okay? Are you maybe a little bit even stressed? Maybe are you behind on bills a little bit? Probably, okay? But here's the thing, when I get a new start that comes in and they have a 10-minute commute, okay, they live with their mom, they have no bills, and they can't show up for a leaders meeting, it's gonna be a lot easier for me to pour into that person and be like, bro, what in the world are you doing? You have no excuse to not be here, because look at this person that has 50 million other life issues going on and they're showing up on time every single day, rather than you who lives 5 minutes down the road and you can't wake up because you keep snoozing your alarm. Like, understand, like, whatever struggle you're going through right now in life, you're going to get over it, but it's not for you. Does that make sense? It's for your future team. Okay, so I just want to challenge the mentality a little bit of, like, I know a lot of people like, oh my God, like when life happens, like, and I've been that person as well, where I'm like, oh my gosh, why me? This always just has to happen to me. No one else just happens to. Guys, it's because it's not happening to you. It's happening for you and for your future self and your future team. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, next one, okay? Oh, God, I love this. Maturity is knowing, all right, procrastination and laziness will eventually add up. Okay? Maturity is knowing procrastination and laziness will add up. Now, this one is for my lazy people in the room that are talented. Okay? Now you know who you are, okay? The person that you know you can wake up, throw something on, okay? And you just know you're on the top of the world. You don't gotta make your bed, you barely gotta iron your clothes. And just somehow, just in the drive between you coming to work and here, somehow, some way with your talent, your clothes got ironed. Somehow, some way, food came along the way. There was a coffee waiting for you at the front door. Like, I'm talking to those talented people in the room right now that rely a lot more on their talent, okay, than their work ethic. Guys, procrastinating and waiting for that dirty pile of laundry that you haven't done in 3 months, that's in your closet, it's eventually gonna add up, okay? I know I'm hitting some people in the heart right now because I was that person. Does that make sense? Like, I used to do that exact same thing. And trust me, take it from someone that it eventually added up to, okay? You're gonna be a lot more stressed, okay? You're gonna be a lot more under the weather. All of a sudden, you're gonna start getting sick. All types of weird stuff is gonna start happening when you're like, hey, look, you know what? I'm just gonna do this tomorrow. I'm just gonna take care of it tomorrow, okay? Guys, I have a little message for you. Tomorrow is average, okay? Now, if anyone in this room wants to stop being average, okay, I simply just recommend stop saying, I'm gonna take care of it tomorrow. Because there's really nothing stopping you from doing it right now other than the fact that you just don't wanna do it. Guys, people don't wanna do a lot of things. Like, you think people that are successful wanna wake up and still continue to build their business every single day? They might love doing it, but they don't necessarily want to. They would rather just stay in their house with their significant other, with their dog, with their kids, doing whatever that they do and just enjoy their life. But they know, okay, in order for me to continue to build this legacy, in order for me to continue to build this dynasty, does that make sense? I have to be able to make the choice. Does that make sense? So for the people that procrastinate and they're a little bit lazy, I've been there, trust me, it adds up, okay? So make the choice now. Like, if you know you have to take care of a dirty pile of laundry, guys, go home and take care of it. If you know you gotta cut the grass, go home and take care of it. If you know you gotta take someone to an appointment, you take care of it. If you know you have to go and get your new ID from Social Security Administration, go and take care of it. I know it's a further drive. I know it's more work. But trust me, your future self is gonna thank you a lot more later when you make the hard choices now. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, next one. All right. Maturity is knowing being a good employee to your business will build it. I'm gonna say that one more time. Maturity is knowing being a good employee to your business will build it. Okay? So I want you guys to think right now exactly where you are in this program. No matter if you've been here 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 2 business seconds, a minute, however long you've been here, right? If this was your company, okay, and you're looking at yourself, you're looking at your performance, and I don't mean performance in the field, okay? I don't care about your sales, okay? If you're looking at how you dress, if you're looking at how you speak, if you're looking at how you communicate with your cross lines, if you're looking about like, hey, do I bring up a lot of negatives? Do I only want to bring up the negatives? Do I show up on time? Do I show up when I tell my CEO that I'm going to show up? Right? If you're giving yourself a self-reflection and this is your business, would you hire yourself to work for your business? Does that make sense? And if the answer is no, guys, change it. Like, if you know right now you're being lazy, if you know right now you're cross-networking with all your cross lines, if you know right now all you want to do is bring up the negatives, guys, fix it. It's nothing that can't be fixed. Is it going to take time? Yes. Is it going to take effort? Yes. Is it going to take discipline? Yes. Is it going to take consistency? Yes. Is it going to take being accountable? Yes. It's going to take all these things, but at the same time, I think the road at the end is going to be a lot sweeter than continuing to go through the struggles that you're going through right now. Does that make sense? So just self-reflect on your business. Like, guys, look, this is your business. You're building it through someone else's business. Here's the thing, guys. Understand, if you mess up, it's on Payne's dime. It's on Miriam's dime. They're the one that pays for it. So they want you to mess up quicker because it's like, all right, the quicker I can get Luke to stop messing up, the quicker I can put him into business for himself. But he has to mess up in order for him to get to the next level. There's no way Luke is going to learn how to get to the next level if he doesn't mess some things up. Does that make sense? So just self-reflect and look at your business and be like, damn, if I was an employer right now and I was giving myself a self-reflection, I was looking myself in the mirror, would I hire me right now to work for me? And if the answer is no, fix it. Cool? Next thing, all right? Maturity is treating someone with respect. Okay? Guys, very simple. Understand, you are not always going to agree with what your cross lines say. All right, there might be times you might not even agree with what your upline says. Okay, me and my upline, 90% of the times agree. Okay, but there's a small percentage of times where I'm like, bro, I gotta be honest with you, I don't feel you on this. And that's cool. I can voice my opinion and be like, hey, we can just agree to disagree, but we still have a job to get done, okay? I don't need to get out of character and be like, yo, Chris, what the bleep? I don't agree with you. You're a piece of bleep, all right? And get out of character and call him out of his name. Like, I can respectfully, hey, Chris, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I simply just don't think that we should do that. And he's like, hey, I simply think we should. And I'm like, hey, it's okay to disagree. We're grown. I think that we can shake hands and part ways. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Cool, and we can continue to build this business. Like, guys, just treat people with respect. You're not always going to agree with what people say in our business, okay? Because everyone is different. So some people are gonna challenge your mentality, and maybe in the moment, right then and there, you don't see the vision as to why they're saying that. And you might disagree. It's okay. Just make sure you take it with a grain of salt, you treat it with respect, and you move on. Cool? Because we gotta show up here tomorrow. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, next one. All right. Maturity is having JOMO rather than FOMO, okay? JOMO is spelled J-O-M-O, and FOMO is spelled F-O-M-O, okay? Now, for anyone in this room, okay, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a backstory real quick, okay? When I had first started this program, all right, and you know, I just finished college. Well, I didn't finish college. I dropped out. But I had just finished playing college basketball. My season was done. I decided I just didn't want to do college basketball anymore. I just wasn't interested in being 6 figures in debt at 23 years old. That just wasn't something that was sexy to me. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna drop out. So I moved to Philadelphia from Massachusetts, and that's where my brother was. That's where my girlfriend at the time was, and that's where 3 of my other friends were that we all went to high school. So we're in Philadelphia, and for any of you guys that don't know, Philadelphia is a party city, okay? It is lit, all right? So every single weekend, we're going out, we're partying. My brother, he's a DJ, so he goes to all the clubs and everything like that. And as soon as I got hired in the business, it was like, you guys know how it is, all right? It's like, wait, I work 8-9 hours a day, Saturdays included. You want me to show up extra early to leaders meetings? You want me to do this? You want me to put in all this extra effort? And I'm on Snapchat, and I'm like, wow, my brothers look like they're having fun. My friends look like they're having fun, okay? So that's FOMO, okay? So that means fear of missing out. Okay, so FOMO stands for fear of missing out, all right? Now, I'll be honest with you guys. For the first couple months in the business, I was pissed. I was like, what the heck? I'm like, why am I not at this party? Why am I not traveling to Cancun? Why am I not going on all these trips that all my brothers are going on? Why am I not doing all this fun stuff that I want to do right now? Cool? And it took my mentor asking me, he's like, hey, look, he's like, can I be honest with you? He's like, how many times a year do your brothers get to go and like go on those travel trips and do those things that they want to do? I'm like, once, maybe twice. And my upline was like, okay, cool. Well, I did that twice last week. And he wasn't telling it to me to gloat. He wasn't telling it to me to brag and, to boast. He was just like, look, I had to sacrifice the time that I had in the program for 6 months. 6 months, 24 Saturdays is all we're asking for. Okay, 24 Saturdays to now make your friends' Friday nights your every single day life. Does that make sense? Like, my upline travels left and right all the time. Cool? He's retired his family, he's retired his wife, okay? And he does not have to work anymore if he doesn't really want to. He continues to put in the work because he's an animal. But he's like, look, I put in the time for 6 months so that every single Friday night that I missed out with my friends, I can live that every single day. He's like, look, I'd rather miss out on 24 parties, 24 Saturdays, so that when I'm now raising my kids, I can be the only guy or I can be the only dad in the stands that's really there at the recital, that's at the basketball game. Because every other dad has to be to work. He can't afford to miss his job. Does that make sense? And when he broke it down to me like that, I'm like, wow, that sounds a lot more attractive because I want kids. And even if you don't want kids, right? Like, I just want to live a free lifestyle. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I want to be free. I don't want to have to wake up every single morning and be like, damn, I gotta go to work. Right? Like, if I go to work, I want to say I get to go to work because I actually want to, not because I have to. Does that make sense? Like, I want to be able to roll over in bed and look at my wife and be like, hey, where are we going today? And just pick a country and we just hop on the plane and we're gone. Does that make sense? Rather than like, oh man, I really wanted to go to that club like, guys, you can club after 6 months when you don't have to worry and wake up the next morning and check the bank account and be like, oh, what did I do last night? Does that make sense? Like, it's a lot more easier. It's a lot more easier to just go to the club and not have to worry about what's in your account. You think Payne worries about what he spends when he goes to the club now? You think Miriam worries about what she You think Miriam worries about what she spent? No. Now, does that mean that they're out there blowing money? No, they're smart with their money, they're frugal, but they now have the opportunity that they can do whatever they want with it because they built those habits for the 6 months going through the program. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. Wow. Next one. Maturity is knowing it is your fault. Okay? Maturity is knowing that it is your fault. So guys, if you are unhappy with where you are in life right now, what's up, brother?
What is JOMO?
Great question. Sorry. I didn't say JOMO, my bad. Joy of missing out, okay? I'm actually so glad you paused me there. Joy of missing out. So once my upline brought it up to me and he's like, look, and he changed my mentality of like, look, in the next 6 months, you're gonna be able to go wherever you want. And then I started looking at those same Snapchats with my brother. I now had a joy of missing out. I was like, damn, okay, cool. They're gonna be doing that, but they can only do it one more time this year. I'm gonna be able to do it every single day if I really wanted to. Obviously, I'm not going to because I have to work. I wanna work. I wanna get my team to the next level. I wanna make sure that I'm developing people. But if I wanted to, I could. Does that make sense? So I now started looking at those images. I now started looking at those Instagram posts and like, damn, I actually have a joy at the fact that I'm not there rather than like, man, I feel like I'm missing out. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Like, it's a switch of a mentality. Now, look, if you're a little bit newer, look, I understand. Right now, you're probably like, look, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just here to collect the paycheck every Friday. It's cool, okay? Just let your upline take the driver's seat for a little while, challenge the mentality, and see where we are in a few months. Cool? Next one. Maturity is knowing it's your fault. Guys, understand, wherever you are in life right now, if you are unhappy, it is your fault. Cool? Now, I might challenge someone on this, okay? But guys, it is your fault. Now, here's the thing. Here's one of the things that my upline always told me. He's like, look, if not everyone comes from a successful background. I personally don't, okay? My mom's an accountant. She probably makes like 70, 80K a year. My dad's a truck driver. I don't know, I think he makes like 80, 90K a year, okay? So I don't come from any crazy background, okay? And they didn't start making that until like a few years ago. And I'm 22 now. So I've grown up through child. Now, I'm not someone that ever really struggled. Like I always had, you know, by the grace of God, I always had, you know, food on the table. I always had, you know, clothes on my back. But I wasn't, you know, someone that, you know, had every single Jordan that was coming out. I wasn't driving around in a nice car. Well, no, yeah. Besides the point. But it was like, at some point, it was like, I know I didn't have everything that I necessarily wanted materialistic-wise. But it was just understanding, like, one of the biggest things that my upline always told me is like, hey, wherever you are in your life right now, it might not be your fault, but it is your responsibility to fix it. Does that make sense? So if right now, as I am at 22 years old, right? If I'm like, hey, I'm broke, I don't have any money, and it's because my mom didn't teach me financial literacy. My dad was broke. I don't come from a family of money. Okay, that part is not your fault. It's not your fault where your parents are at in life or the lifestyle that you had growing up. I agree, okay? I'm a firm believer of, and some people might disagree, but I'm a firm believer of the zip code that you grew up in, okay, does play a big part of where you fall into life, okay? But I will say, if you guys come and meet me 6 years from now, okay, and I'm still like, hey, I'm broke, it's because of my mom didn't teach me financial literacy, it's because my dad is broke. I cannot use the same excuse for too long. Does that make sense? Because you're telling me in 6 years, I wasn't able to find any type of opportunity, any type of job, any type of mentor, coach, trainer, anything that would be able to teach me those skills. 6 years, I wasn't able to do that. Does that make sense? At that point, it's just a choice. Like, you're just choosing that you want to keep using the same excuse so you don't have to put in the work. Does that make sense? Now, like I said, I might be arresting some people's entitlement right now. It's okay, because my upline had to do the exact same thing for me in order to help me get to the next level. Okay, but understanding, yes, where you are at in life right now, no matter what you're struggling with, if you're behind on bills, car payment, relationships rocky, you know, family's ill, whatever the case is, guys, that might not be your fault, okay? But in 5 years from now, you cannot say that what's happening today, okay, on September, what is it, the 9th, 8th? The 7th? On September 7th, 2023, I cannot say on September 7th in 2030 that because of what's happening today is the reason that I'm still in the same position 7 years from now. Does that make sense? Like, at some point, you have to be like, all right, cool. Where do I wake up and start making the choice that I'm going to change my life for me? that make sense? Cool. Last part, and then we're all good. Cool? All right, maturity is knowing how to forgive. All right? Maturity is knowing how to forgive. All right? Guys, you have to understand, your upline is not perfect. They are a human being the same way you are. Okay? Your parents are not perfect. They're a human being the same way that you are. But guess what? They birthed you, didn't they? Because you're standing in this room right now. Okay? They might not have been the best, okay? They might have been worse than anything close to the best. But they still birthed you and you're still standing in this room right now, okay? So whatever you're going through right now with your significant other, with your parents, with your brother, your sister, your significant other, your uplines, your cross lines, whatever the case is, if you have resentment towards your upline, if you have resentment towards your cross line, if you have resentment towards your parents, whatever the case is, like guys, let it go. Okay, maturity is understanding how to forgive, because let me explain something to you guys. In business, shit gets rocky. Okay, it's not always just gonna be ups. Okay, at some point, what must go up, at some point must come down. Cool? So at some point, your highs, when you did 5, 6, 7, 3 days back to back, guys, eventually you're gonna do 0 in the field. Does that make sense? Like, let me tell, like, guys, I am someone, I'm known for doing consistent production. Guys, I roll every once in a while. Okay, it might not be often, but every once in a while, I do 0. It will happen. Does that make sense? So I have to know how to forgive myself. I have to know how to forgive my upline. Like if me and my upline get into an altercation, into an argument, and I strongly don't disagree with, or I strongly disagree with Payne, or I strongly disagree with Miriam, like I cannot hold that resentment on for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Does that make sense? Because how are you ever going to get through the program? Because the coaching that they're giving you, because you still have this built up resentment, and all you want to do is just cross network and talk to your cross lines about it. Their coaching that they're giving you, which is great coaching because it comes from Richard's organization, their coaching is falling on deaf ears. Does that make sense? It's not even going in and going through the other one. It's stopping right here and it's just bouncing right off and just reflecting off. Does that make sense? So just understand, maturity is knowing how to forgive. Like guys, people make mistakes. No one is going to be perfect. Does that make sense? Like someone is going to make a mistake. And look at yourself. Sometimes we look at our uplines and we're like, oh, they did this, they did that. But you didn't show up for a leaders meeting yesterday after you said you would. But you didn't take out the trash yesterday when you said you would. But you took a 45-minute break in the field rather than a 15, 20-minute break that you know you're supposed to, even though you said that you would take the traditional break. But you're still cross-networking with your cross lines, talking about a bunch of negatives when you said you would stop. But we're the first to point the finger at the upline and be like, you did this, you did that. I have this problem with you. Like, guys, they forgave you because you're still working here. Because if they didn't forgive you, you'd be off of the payroll, correct? So they clearly forgave you. So guys, let's maybe extend the same grace. Does that make sense? We're dealing with human beings. People make mistakes. No one's perfect. Cool? All right, next one. All right, maturity is knowing that your past success will not guarantee your future. Cool? All right, I'm gonna use I play basketball, so I'm gonna use a hooper analogy real quick. Any hoopers in here? Wow. Hoopers.
What was
Cool.
the phrase again?
Knowing your past success won't guarantee your future, okay? So I'm a hooper, so I know, okay, if I go into a basketball game and I drop 30 tonight, okay? My next game, I cannot go into the game saying, yeah, I'm the ish, I just dropped 30, okay? And then I get blown out, okay, we lose by 30, okay, I had 10 points, and I'm still walking around like, yeah, it's okay, I had 30 last game. Who cares? You just lost by 30, and you had 10 points. Now, does that mean you're not capable of dropping 30 again? Absolutely not. But that just means is the work that you did yesterday is not going to dictate the results that you get today. Like, you have to show up daily and make sure that you're continuing to go to the gym. You have to make sure you're continuing to put in the work. Whatever it is that you know you need to do to get to the next level, you can't do it one day and be like, yeah, I did it. Crushed it. I did 6 today in the field. I had 100% installation rate. And then next week, you just choose not to rehash with your customers and just be like, yeah, I'm only going to hit 1 lap in the field. Even though I hit 3 laps every single day last week, I finished the week on 30. But I finished the week on 30, so I'm good. Like, guys, we can't live off of past success. Does that make sense? Like, if anyone knows LeBron James, like, you guys don't see him nowadays saying, yeah, what I did with the Cavaliers my first year, that's why you guys should call me the king. Like, he literally says it in so many press conferences. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, because people try to bring it up all the time, like, hey, LeBron, you're so great. You did this in 2012, and you did this, and you did that. And he's like, look, that's cool. I appreciate the gratitude, but like, look, I can't live off of the results that I'm getting now based off of the success that I had in the past. Like, I have to keep going to the gym. I have to keep developing myself. I have to keep going to rehab. I have to keep doing the necessary things to get to the next level, because what won me the championship last year is not going to be the same thing that wins me the championship this year. Does that make sense? So if we're relating it back to the field, like, look, what got you results yesterday in the field is not going to be the same results that get you to the field today. Does that make sense? Like, it's a different day. It's a different territory. You're talking to different customers. There's different doors. It's a different zip code. Like, you're in a different area. Cool? So you got to level up and give it the same amount of work ethic and then double that. Does that make sense? Cool? All right. Last couple and then we'll be all good. All right? Maturity is not getting easily offended. Cool? Maturity is not getting easily offended. Guys, if you're someone that gets offended, it's okay. You're not always gonna, like I said, you're not always gonna agree with your upline. You're not always gonna agree with your cross line. There's gonna be something that someone says that's gonna piss you off. Okay? It is okay. Does that make sense? But for people in the people that are successful in this industry, they get offended, they live with it, and they move on. Okay? Because if every single time, if I'm Chris's downline and every single time he gives me coaching and he's like, yeah, man, this is what you need to work on, this is what you need to work on, and every single time I get offended, he's gonna want to stop coaching me because he's like, all right, clearly this guy cannot take coaching well, and clearly he cannot take constructive criticism well. You're good, brother. Clearly he cannot take constructive criticism well, so I'm just gonna stop coaching him. Does that make sense? Like, guys, be a little bit more emotionally intelligent. Like, if you get offended by every little thing that someone says to you, I don't mean to offend anyone, but guys, you're probably a little soft, and we can probably get our mentality a little bit harder by just networking with our offline. Like, guys, there's books, there's podcasts, there's YouTube videos as to how to strengthen your mentality and not get so easily offended, okay? Because I was someone that used to get easily offended. My upline used to tell me the slightest thing and I used to pop off. Not like disrespectfully to him, but I used to like go in my car and like rage, like, damn it, why does he hate me? Damn it, what's wrong with me? He's wrong. Like, guys, that used to be me. That's why I can come up here and talk to you about this, because all these things that I'm listing, I used to do. Does that make sense? But it took him recommending me books and me actually putting in the work, reading them, listening to podcasts, listening to successful people, and not listening to the Instagram posts as to how I'm gonna get to the next level. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. All right. Maturity is never making a decision when you're at a valley or a peak. Second to last one, and then we got one more, and then we're good. Cool? Promise. Promise. Scout's honor.
You said what again?
Maturity is never making a decision when you're at a valley or a peak.
That's a really good one.
Does that make sense? So what that means, if anyone's confused by that, what that means is, look, if I just went out if I just went out last week and I crushed it, I did 30, cool? Made a $2,500 paycheck, crushed it, cool? Paycheck's fat, I'm feeling good. Guys, I'm not going to Capital Grill to go and buy a $5,000 or $500 steak, all right, and just buy a $200 bottle of wine and be like, yeah, I just made $2,500, so I'm about to go blow it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Now, at the same time, when I'm low, if I'm struggling in production right now and I'm doing maybe consistently 1s, 2s, 0s, whatever the case is, I'm not like, screw it, this program must not work. I might as well just quit. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to make a decision when I'm at a valley or a peak, because that decision that I make is emotional. Does that make sense? Like, I want to make a decision that was ran through my upline, that I got coaching, counseling on it, that it was actually recommended because they've already been in that position. Like, they've made $2,500 paychecks. Does that make sense? Like, trust me, I can tell you right now, like, if Miriam and Payne did not build the habits that they did going through the program, them making 6 figures now would really be them making no money. Because if they weren't taught by their uplines on how to manage money, on how to get to the next level, how to be more financially literate, guys, they would see that $15,000 direct deposit coming in from Verizon and be like, what mall are we going to today? Does that make sense? But because they have enough financial literacy, because they've been educated on it, they're like, okay, cool. I know because I just made 20 grand, I gotta feed my business, I gotta keep getting recruited because my guys need new starts. My guys need teams because they need to get to the next level. Does that make sense? Like, so I never want to make sure that I want to make sure that I never make a decision when I'm at a valley or I'm at a peak. Cool? Last one. All right. Maturity is knowing your association. Okay, maturity is knowing your association. Guys, who you hang around plays a very big part into how successful you are in life. Okay? It's sad to say, all right, but I'll be honest with you guys. I had to cut my brother off, okay? And all my friends that I just spoke about earlier in Philly, now I don't mean cut them off like I was like, F you, I'm blocking you, we're done. But I moved out of the house that I was in, okay? Because the house that I was in, okay, they were smoking every single day, okay? I was a part of it at one point, but they were smoking every single day, okay? They were never doing anything to go to work. We were just going to play basketball, just going to the court every single day. And I'm like, look, I have half of my life where I go to work, where I have millionaires trying to pour into me and trying to get me to the next level. And then I come home for the other half of my day, and I'm just around a bunch of people that are just doing nothing. Cool? That doesn't mean I love my brother any less. That doesn't mean that my brother is anything less than me. Okay? He knows the opportunity that he had. Cool? And that he continues to have. He still has the opportunity. But I'm like, look, if I'm trying to get to the next level right now, who I hang around matters. Does that make sense? So if you hang around 5 rich people, okay, and you're broke, if you hang around 5 millionaires, can we say it's safe to say that you're gonna make at least 6 figures at some point?
Yep.
Now at the same time, if you hang around 5 broke people and you're already broke, can we say it's safe to say you're probably gonna stay in the same position? Does that make sense? Like if I know I wanna go to the gym, I'm not gonna go hang around someone that has never been in the gym. I'm gonna go hang out with Savage, someone that can pick me up with his pinky. All right, and I'm gonna be like, Savage, what workouts do I need to be doing? What eating routine do I need to be doing? What shakes do I need to be taking? Because I know Savage is in shape and he hits the gym. Does that make sense? And if he doesn't hit the gym, he runs and he works out at home. So I know I can trust Savage with my judgment. I can trust Savage with my coaching to be able to get bigger because he's there. Does that make sense? But I'm not gonna hang around someone that goes to the hotel breakfast and they swallow 2 bottles of syrup and eat 5 donuts and ask them, hey, how do I get to the gym and how do I become bigger? Does that make sense? Like, I think it's just very clear. Like, I just want to hang around someone. If I'm trying to get to a certain position, I just want to hang around someone that's already in that position because they've been through it. Does that make sense? Some of us they're like, oh, I don't want to go talk to Miriam because I'm like scared. I don't want to go talk to, I don't want to go talk to Payne because I'm like guys, the position you're trying to get to right now, they're in. They went through it already. So talking to your cross line about how to get there, I don't know where the heck you guys think you're gonna go because you guys are at the exact same position. I wanna talk to, if I wanna become a millionaire, I wanna talk to a millionaire about how to become a millionaire. And I love my mom to death, but I don't listen to my mom when she tells me, Hasani, you work too hard, you shouldn't be doing business, it's risky, because my mom's an accountant that makes $80K a year. Love her to death. She's the reason I can stand in front of you guys today. I'm just not taking business advice from someone that's not in the position that I want to be in. Does that make sense? And guys, like I said, all these things that I'm talking about are all things that I did at one point in my life. Does that make sense? But I just wanted to make sure that I casted the vision with you guys tonight. Like after this meeting, guys, there's gonna be 2 types of people in this room, okay? I'm gonna just let you guys know right now, straight up, okay? There's gonna be 2 types of people. There's gonna be the one person that's gonna be like, yeah, that was cool, rah, rah, whatever the case is. I'm gonna still just go home and I'm gonna just do my own thing. I'm gonna get to the next level myself. Cool? There's gonna be that person, cool? And then there's gonna be that person that's gonna be like, damn, a lot of what was just said made sense, and they're gonna self-reflect and they're gonna be like, damn, if I really want to get to the position that I want to be in life, there's gonna be a lot of things that I need to change, better relationships that I need to build, maybe some people I gotta cut off, maybe some habits I gotta cut off to be able to get to the next level, okay? So those are 2 things that are gonna happen, okay? Guys, I want you guys to understand, Miriam and Payne, I'm not gonna say they made it, but guys, they're already in the position that they need to be in to get to the next level, okay? And our business is built off of recruiting. Does that make sense? Like the lifeline of our business is just more people, okay? So anyone that maybe has a little bit of entitlement where it's like, I've been here a little bit longer, I should be getting this, I should be getting that. Like guys, I'm gonna tell you straight up what my upline told me, okay? There is no problem that 5 new starts cannot fix. Cool? So if you're one person right now, I don't care if you have the best meeting, I don't care if you have the best impact, I don't care if you make the most money, you do the most sales, your team is the best team in the office, I don't care. If you're entitled, if you have ego, if you're trying to drop the standards of the office, guys, you will get replaced in 2 seconds. And I don't say that in like a threatening way, a bad way, like, oh my gosh, you need to be scared. But just know, like, don't get it twisted to the point where you're like, yeah, my CEO needs me in order to grow. Like the as fast as your second round interview finished and you got that call to get hired is as fast as you can be back on Indeed. Cool? So just be a little bit grateful that within 6 months, Payne and Miriam is trying to teach you how to make 6 figures, something that corporate America teaches you 5 to 10 years how to do. Like, understand, guys, it's not always gonna be easy. You're not always gonna agree with them. You're not always gonna wanna hear what they have to say. But maturity is getting to the next level and actually being able to implement those things. Cool? You guys think we use that today?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Absolutely.
Payne.